Today we're learning a piano accompaniment for Against All Odds by Phil Collins. This is one of my favorite ballads from Phil Collins, and we're going to learn the song in the original key of D flat major, which has 5 flats. Let's learn. Here's our middle C for reference. We'll start with the intro, which sounds like this. Starting with our left hand, we'll play E flat octaves for E flat minor 7, A flat for A flat major, and we'll repeat that again with E flat octaves in A flat. On your right hand, for E flat minor 7, we'll play D flat and E flat together, followed by A flat, B flat, G flat, and F. For A flat major, we'll play E flat, A flat, and C. Let's repeat the right hand again. E flat minor 7 and A flat major. Then we're going to repeat the E flat minor 7 notes again. And for the final A flat major chord, instead of playing E flat, A flat, and C like before, we'll play A flat, C, and E flat together. Let's try that again. E flat minor 7, A flat major, E flat minor 7, and A flat major. With hands together, we have this. We're going to call this our intro pattern, and it will be played again later in the song. Now we arrive at the verse section, and we'll go over our left hand first. We have B flat for B flat minor 7, C for C minor 7, D flat for D flat sus 2, and E flat for E flat minor 11. Now for our right hand, we have A flat, D flat, and F together for B flat minor 7. Then we're going to keep that finger shape and move our hand up one whole step and play B flat, E flat, and G together for C minor 7. For rhythm, we're going to play our chords on the first beat, and on the right hand, we'll pulse our chords on every half note, like so. B flat minor 7, C minor 7. For D flat sus 2, we have D flat, E flat, and A flat played together on our right hand. For E flat minor 11, we'll just move our middle finger to play G flat. So we have D flat, G flat, and A flat on the right hand. Let's repeat those 4 chords again. B flat minor 7, C minor 7, D flat sus 2, and E flat minor 11. Our next chord is G flat major, where we have G flat on the left, and B flat, D flat, and G flat on the right. For A flat over G flat, we'll keep our left hand on G flat and play C, E flat, and A flat on the right. So that's G flat major and A flat over G flat. For F minor 7, we have F on the left and A flat, C, and E flat on the right. Then back to B flat minor 7, which we learned before. So we have B flat minor 7, C minor 7, D flat sus 2, E flat minor 11, G flat major, A flat over G flat, F minor 7, and B flat minor 7. E flat minor 7, we have E flat on the left, and G flat, B flat, and D flat on the right. And we're going to play this chord for one whole note. For G flat over A flat, we're going to only move our left hand from E flat to A flat and play the same notes: G flat, B flat, and D flat on the right hand. Then for A flat major, we'll keep the A flat on the left and play A flat, C, and E flat on the right. So with proper timing, we have this: B flat minor 7, C minor 7, D flat sus2, E flat minor 11, G flat major, A flat over G flat, F minor 7, and B flat minor 7. For E flat minor 7, we'll play it for a whole note. Then we have G flat over A flat and A flat major. Then we'll repeat the chord progression again for verse 2. We'll call this our verse chord progression, and it is played also for the third verse in the song. For those looking for a challenge, you can play G flat over A flat and A flat chords the way Phil Collins does when accompanying himself. Here's how he plays them. After playing E flat minor 7, Phil first plays the G flat over A flat chord as a solid block, then plays E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, and B flat on the right hand before moving to the solid A flat major chord. So the chord progression is E flat minor 7, G flat over A flat with the right hand notes, and then A flat major. Let's try that again. This brings us to the chorus section. We'll cover the left hand first. On the left, we have A flat for D flat over A flat, E flat for E flat 7, B flat for B flat minor 7, G flat for G flat major chord, E flat for E flat minor 7, A flat for G flat over A flat, and A flat for A flat major chord. On the right, we have A flat, D flat, and F for D flat over A flat, and B flat, D flat, E flat, and G for E flat 7. That's D flat over A flat, E flat 7. Then we have B flat minor 7, which we learned earlier. For G flat major, we have G flat, B flat, and D flat on the right. Then we have E flat minor 7, which we already know. For G flat over A flat, we have A flat on the left and G flat, B flat, and D flat on the right. And for A flat major, we have A flat, C, and E flat on the right. So we have G flat over A flat and A flat major. Let's go over the chorus chord progression we just covered and take note the timing of each chord. D flat over A flat, E flat 7, B flat minor 7, G flat major, E flat minor 7, G flat over A flat, and A flat major. After that, we repeat the same chord progression with a slight timing change near the end. E flat 7, B flat minor 7, G flat major, E flat minor 7, G flat over A flat, G flat over A flat again, and A flat major. Then we pause. This is where the drums come in. After the drums, we reach the third verse, where the song builds, becoming fuller as more instruments join in. To match this intensity, you can enhance your accompaniment by playing octaves with your left hand for the bass. I also recommend playing the G flat to A flat over G flat chord a little different here to add some variation to your accompaniment. It gives the listener something new as opposed to the same thing played before, and it sounds like this. So we'll play the basic G flat major chord and then the A flat over G flat, and we'll play C, C, A flat, E flat, and C on our right. Then F minor 7 and B flat minor 7. Let's try to include that in our verse chord progression. B flat minor 7, C minor 7, D flat sus2, E flat minor 11, G flat major, our modified A flat over G flat chord, F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat minor 7, G flat over A flat, and A flat major. Finally, as something optional, you can add the passing notes between D flat over A flat and E flat 7, like so. Notes are played on the left hand. D flat over A flat, D flat, D, and E flat 7 chord. Let's play the chorus section with those passing notes. So the chorus chord progression is played twice for the first chorus and 3 times for the second chorus. We arrive at the outro, and here's a preview of what it sounds like. You'll notice that the start of the outro is exactly what is played for the intro. Then we play the first half of the intro again. Then we follow that up with 4 chords. We'll cover the left hand first. We have D flat for D flat sus2, C for A flat over C, G flat for G flat sus2, and A flat for A flat sus2. On the right hand, we have A flat and E flat played together for D flat sus2. We'll play the same notes for A flat over C. Then we have G flat, A flat, and D flat for G flat sus2. And keeping the same finger shape, we'll shift our hand up 1 whole note and play A flat, B flat, and E flat. So on the right hand, we have A flat over E flat played twice, G flat, A flat, and D flat played together, A flat, B flat, and E flat together. For the last 2 chords, instead of playing solid chords, I recommend rolling the chord. This is where instead of playing all the notes at the same time, you roll your fingers smoothly from the lowest to the highest notes in a rapid motion. This creates a more fluid, expressive sound, often used in ballads and emotional piano playing. Let's play the last 4 chords again. D flat sus2, A flat over C, G flat sus2, and A flat sus2. And you can choose to cascade the last chord, A flat sus2, on the right hand to the next few octaves like so. This technique is often used in ballads for emotional effect. Playing the outro again, we have this. If you reached this far, consider checking out my other tutorials.